Hello and welcome to the Storytelling with Puck podcast. We will, as always, start with a story.
In need of relief. As the world continues to get cold, I search deeper within my soul, looking for a place to stay, hoping that everything and everyone will be okay. The pain in people right now is a marble wall coated in disgust. It's almost like spirituality isn't reaching all of us. The more tears you cry, it just seems like the less it helps. So what more can you do but depend on and fend for yourself? So many things are to blame for how we live right now, but there is a way out. Change is the most extensive action we can ask for. It will help erase the coming days ahead of suffering, which in all of our lives has led to destroying humanity, bringing us so far beyond our knees. We are crying, begging, pleading for peace. Please don't look the other way. Help us so that life will have a chance, so that those who have plans can see them through. Let them be outstanding, giving hope to all that view. Healing and repair are all we need and all we ask of you.
Wow, Lydia, that's so powerful.
Thank you.
Don't look the other way.
Yes.
What an important line.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that poem. Hopefully, we'll get to hear some more of your absolutely spectacular poems as we continue with the podcast, and we'll find out more about you in a second. But before we do any of that, let's have a quick introduction to the podcast.
You're listening to Storytelling with Puck, the podcast designed to show the power of stories in life and in business. Stories connect us on a deeper level, which is why we'll be sharing, chatting about, and feeling the impact they have on every one of us. Your host, Stefano, is the founder of Puck Creations, and we work with your business to define a clear, consistent, relevant brand which stands out from the crowd. We use that brand to create content that makes your audience think, feel, and take action. Visit puckcreations.com to find out more.
Before you do that, there's strength in weakness. Our guest today shines a light on that with her beautiful poetry. She writes from the heart and shares her soul with every word. We're grateful to have Lydia Brown with us today. Lydia, please tell us a little about yourself.
My name is Lydia Brown, and I am a mother, I'm a friend, I'm a person, and I'm also an author. And I just want to share my poetry with the world, because I've been through a lot of things and I've been hurt, and it has taken a lot of perseverance and wisdom to get me through a lot of the things that I've been through. But the important thing is I made it, and I feel like that my poetry can help other people. So I really want to just get my book out there so people won't feel alone, because it's just so much going on in this world right now, and everything is just crazy, and I just feel like people need something to help them or center them. And I know that it may be just a book to some, but to me, every poem in that book is a story, and all those stories help me through so much things. And if I could just help other people with that, that's what I want to do.
It's beautiful. And I've read, we all were lucky to listen to your words at the beginning of this podcast. And I'm very grateful to you for reading that poem to us. And I've been even luckier. I've got to read some of your poetry previously when you shared it with us for Storytelling with Puck, the initiative.
Yes.
And I think you're right. It does. Your words do help to heal people. They help people to understand better as well. And I think that's what good writing does. It brings us into somebody else's world, and it helps us to empathize with them better. And your writing really does that. Now, I read, I can't remember when, but maybe on your profile or on LinkedIn or something like that, that you find writing to be therapeutic.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about that. Well, how do stories and how does poetry help, not just you, but I guess all of us, to find our way back a little?
Okay, well, the only thing that I can tell you is I used to be homeless, and I used to sleep outside. And this was when I was pregnant with my daughter that I have and live with now. And I went through a lot during like that pregnancy and being outside and people trying to take advantage of me and hurt me. And the one thing I learned is that if I just keep going and just ignore what people say and how they feel and put my feelings first, that is what is going to help me through. And I ran away from my mother when I was young, and it's like I learned all these lessons from being homeless. So it's like I have a lot of trauma, but I put all of the things that I was taught, these lessons, and then lessons that my daughter's father taught me, you know, like how to love myself and try to keep myself first and in the forefront and always respect myself. And that has been helping. But even though life is, you know, like that, I just try to keep myself as centered as I can and just understand that it's okay and I'm okay. That's all I can do. I hope I answered your question.
No, it is. It's an incredible answer to my question, and it tells us a little bit more about why you write the way you do, and where it comes from, where some of that soul that we get to see in your words is born, I guess. If you don't mind, and you really don't have to answer these questions if they're too personal and you don't feel like you want to go down this road. But you mentioned that you were homeless. I can only imagine how hard that is. And as you say, I can only imagine how many people try to take advantage of you whilst you're homeless as well. And you're already in a bad enough situation, but often other people make it even worse. But if it's okay, can we maybe go back a step and talk about what happened for you to be forced onto the streets? Why was it that you were homeless?
I mean, it started because I loved my mom and my mom loved me. It was just that we were at odds, because when I was like 15, I swore to God that I was grown and that I didn't need her to tell me nothing. So I just said, look, I'm okay. I'm going to leave. And that's what I did. It was not the best choice. It really wasn't. But from that, I really learned so much, because I started off panhandling in Chicago, on Chicago Avenue. And the way I would approach it is I wasn't aggressive. I would just just sit in my chair, and I would have my little cup, and I would just, sit there, and I would say hi to people and speak respectively to people, and people would give me money. And so, I took that money, I would go eat. I would go and pay for, a room. I would try to get enough money to get clothes so I can, look nice every day and take care of myself and make myself presentable and show them that they weren't just giving their money to, somebody that wasn't going to do right by it. It was very important that I took what they gave me and, put it into myself so that they could see, okay, well, she's rested. She has clean clothes on. Her hair is combed. She looks good, and this is just the next day. So they started to, believe and trust in me, and they, started helping me a little more. And I was able to pay for a room for a week, or sometimes a month. It depends on how much money I made. And I was able to just take care of myself financially until I met my daughter's father.
Okay. So how long were you doing this for? How long were you on the streets? And as you say, I guess kind of in and out of rooms when you were able to get enough money to stay in rooms sometimes and then back out on the streets. How long did that go on for?
I actually was homeless for like 15 to like 34, 30. Yeah, 30. No, because I think I got this place like when I was 32, because I moved in here July 8th, 08. So
Okay.
yeah, I was homeless for that long.
That's a really long time. So throughout that time, as you say, you were seeking help, you were seeking money, and you were making yourself. It's interesting because when you talk about, making yourself presentable, making yourself look to a standard where people might give you money, it's amazing that you did that, and it's amazing that you were, I guess, trying to make the best of yourself. I do often find that people who have never been homeless and never been in your position, however, can be extremely judgmental. If somebody is homeless and on the streets, I don't think it's up to me to judge whether or not they look presentable enough for me to give them money. You know what I mean? It's or to support them. Somebody's on the streets because something has happened. You know this better than me.
No, yeah, because my thing was, if these people are going to help me, I'm going to show them that it's actually helping me and I'm doing something with it to make myself better. Okay. That was the most important thing. Like after I would get through panhandling, I would go eat, I would get on the bus, I'll go to the thrift store, and I would go to my room, and maybe lay down and then get up, take a bath and relax till the next day. And this was like a process for me until I met my daughter's father. That's what I did. Living on the streets is definitely not for the faint at all. You have to watch yourself at all times. You have to be careful. You have to watch who you talk to. You have to respect people so that hopefully if something happens, somebody could be like, well, I know that person. That person did not, do what, they're saying. So it was just important for me to just keep like a good profile so the people understood that, okay, whatever's going on over here, I have nothing to do with that. I am about taking care of myself only. So that's how
it's really commendable. That's really commendable. It's a brilliant attitude to take, and it's. I think you were in a very difficult situation, but you managed to make the best of the situation, which is something I think we can only admire. You said you met your daughter's dad, and that's what then took you to off the streets and stopped you from being homeless.
Yes.
And then throughout all of this time, were poems and stories and kind of different ideas and creative thoughts kind of in your head?
I mean, yeah, because I used to, like when I would sell, so I used to sell streetwise on Chicago Avenue. And I knew everybody that came down that street that went to work, like the hospital, the police station, like I knew everyone in the 18th district. So like I knew everybody, and it's like they would share like their time with me, and like they would talk to me and like give me hugs, and like people cared. So I started writing poems like to them in like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, holiday, and I would like write them little to let them know how I felt about them helping me when I was pregnant with my daughter. And it was just important that I tell them how I felt, because I was like with my daughter's father, I was pregnant, like we had to get enough money to get a room, and I had to take care of all this stuff, and we had to do all this stuff together, and I used to have to get up crazy early in the morning, go out, sell papers. And I said that if they're going to do all of this for me, I have to say something. Like I can't just let them do this for me and not show appreciation. Like I've never been that kind of person. Like I haven't. Like I love to share my heart, and I love to tell people what I think, and I share poetry with people that, I feel close to.
I'm almost speechless, Lydia, because it's such an amazing thing to do, and I imagine that when you shared that with them, when you gave them that appreciation, it's more than just saying thank you. You wrote something for them, specifically for them. What was their reaction like when you read something to them?
But I would write them poems, and they would come back the next day and be like, "You are so sweet." Like, listen, do you want some coffee or some donuts? And they would go, because I used to sell I used to sell my Streetwise papers in front of Dunkin' Donuts, and they would go in and give me coffee and donuts, or like they would stand there and like be a little late for work, just to talk to me and, tell me good morning, give me hugs, and tell me that, what I did, made them happy. And I had wrote a letter. I don't know exactly where this letter is, but I did write a letter to the 18th Police Department. I forgot what division, but like when you're talking about the officers that you see and you're saying that like this one's good, this one's funny, this one, and I had a list of people and I said all of these officers are just fabulous people. I said you must know this, like all of them, I love them. And they sent me back a letter and they said, thank you so much. They said that this helps because when officers are in trouble or they're having down times, they can have, like that as a reference to know that they're good. And, even though everything is crazy now, not all police are bad, because these police I'm talking about, they helped me. They knew my daughter. They treated her like, like they were their own, like she was their own, like they would play with her and she would run up to him when she was a baby, like all of that. So yeah, it was an awesome time.
It sounds like you had such a deep connection, and I think it's hard sometimes to get that connection with people. Maybe there was kind of the underlying idea that they were supporting you, and then you were kind of showing your appreciation to them. And it's more than I guess just meeting an office friend, somebody kind of at work, if that makes it just deeper.
Yeah, because like I wasn't nervous, because like when I started off panhandling, so they saw me in the beginning, and then like I would always say hi to them and speak to them. So when I upgraded and I took my daughter's father with me to Streetwise to go get papers, and I started selling papers, and they saw me, they say, okay. They said, okay, well, this is good. And, like they were happy. And they said, you let us know if you have any trouble and we'll help you. And like I had, so like I said, I'm telling you, I had so many friends. Like I miss a lot of them. I miss them all. I wish that things were different so I could go back down there and like literally tell each one of them people thank you, because they really helped me grow up and just be the person I am. Like, you don't know the connection that I have with these people. Like, I still think about these people now. I don't like really go outside and travel that much unless I like have an appointment or something, or I just want to go around in my neighborhood. But I really miss being downtown, like, and seeing those people. But it's not safe right now, so I can't go down there. But hopefully one day, when things get back together, I will be able to, and I'm definitely going to like reach out to as many people as that remembers me, and I'm gonna tell them thank you.
That sounds like an amazing thing to do. Just quickly, you mentioned it's not safe. Obviously, I'm not from the same part of the world as you. It's not safe right now. What's happening at the moment to make it less safe?
The only thing I could say is that it's a little violency, and
Okay.
This is like this would be a time to just like stay near your house type thing.
Okay.
So yeah. But I don't know how to put it, because I'm not trying to be political. I'm not trying to get no drama. I'm just saying, like, stay to yourself.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. I understand that as well. We won't get into politics if, especially if that's not a place you want to go. I guess it saddens me that you don't feel able to be in the streets around your own home and to be able to kind of walk around your own area because it feels safe and it feels violent. But let's not go into too much detail on that.
That's where I grew up. So, like that place will always be home, but I just can't go down there until things get better. Like, and when they do, I'll go down and say hi to everyone. But until then, I'm going to stay safe. And I hope everybody else do too.
I hope so too. And more importantly, I hope things improve. And that it's not something that you have to worry about.
Right.
But so away from that then, and away from the situation outside now, you are moved into your home and you have your daughter with you. And what's life like now? What kind of changes have happened?
I'm sorry. I get a little emotional because I really love my daughter so much. And it's like
that's not something to be sorry for, Lydia. That's beautiful.
Life is good. Like it's struggle, it's like consequences, it's drama, but it's also happiness and love. And it's like I have really changed and become this person that wants to help and give. And I want to help other homeless people. I don't know how, but I want to try to figure out how to make a foundation or something and give money to them. I don't know how I want to do it, but I just want to money, clothes, whatever they need. I just don't know how to do it. But this is the ground point, the book. Once I start selling this book, I'm going to move. I'm going to get a better place. I'm going to keep my goals ahead of me. I'm going to continue to write. Currently, I have 6 books already written. And so, whole books. And so it's right now, the PR people that I'm working with, Girl Friday, with the lady that had contacted you, Miss Oriana, she's very sweet, she's my friend. They are working on my second book to get it ready to hopefully get it in stores, hopefully by the end of the year. So I'm excited about that. And I'm just ready. I want to definitely move. I want to get a better place. I want to take better care of myself and my family. And I want to see my goals come true, especially helping home. I wish so much that I could, because one thing me and my daughter's father used to do, we used to stay in hotels and we would fix food and take it around to people in the building that didn't have food. And I want to do that so bad for people in my community, but I don't know how. And I don't know. It's just something that I always just wanted to do. I want to help.
I think they're beautiful ambitions. They're great goals to have. And I, as you say, maybe the starting point is managing to sell enough books to kind of improve everything for yourself. And then you could use some of the money and some of the kind of support that you get from that to support people on the streets. But if these books are your starting point, maybe we should tell our listeners what is the name of the first book and the second book that's going to be released later on this year.
Okay, so the first book is called Strength in Weaknesses, Hope Through Poetry.
What an amazing name for a masterful book. I'd encourage each and every one of you to go out there and buy it. See the strength of your weaknesses too. We'll be talking more about Lydia's books. We'll be seeing what life is like for Lydia today, and we'll be discovering the extra challenges she's faced through having cerebral palsy and living as a homeless person. We'll also get to listen to more of her spectacular poetry. If you stay for nothing else, stay for that. Of course, we'll end the episode with a story from Puck Creations, but first, here's Jackie Goddard, offering you the power to speak.
My creativity at its best, it's a real exploring, it's a surprising journey.
I think creativity is just
the antidote to insanity, and it's productive originality.
Surprising answers, inspiring stories, motivational, educational, inspirational. Wise words with Power to Speak the podcast. Find us on your favourite podcast platform or watch on YouTube at Power to Speak the podcast with me, Jackie Goddard.
I love the name. I absolutely love the name. It's why I started. I introduced you with finding strength and weakness. It's beautiful. Where did it come from? What was the idea behind the name? Was it because of what we talked about earlier?
So the book came because I had to get it edited, and I was talking to like my editor, and I said, I don't necessarily have a name. I know that I want to reach out to people, but I also want to like show my flaws because I'm handicapped and I'm in a power chair. So, and my life is different because I function like not like a regular person. So I said the first book especially, like that was my baby. Like in all my books, I poured my heart, but that one got every ounce. For sure, that one got every ounce. And with that book, I wanted to show people that, okay, I'm handicapped and I have all this going on, but these hurdles, they're weaknesses, but these are my strengths inside of me that I can show you how to help you to get through things.
I love that way of putting it. Also, I've heard people talk before, and I mean their words, and the word itself isn't important, but it kind of has a relevance. So you mentioned you're handicapped, and people say disabled sometimes when they're talking about that. I've heard people talk before about the idea that you're not disabled, you're differently able. You have different ways, different approaches to things. And I think your explanation then of some people see being disabled as a weakness, but it's not a weakness. It's just a different way of life. I was talking to somebody recently who is neurodiverse, and she only found this out recently. And she talks about the idea that some people call it, kind of the superpower, etc. And she finds that sometimes a bit too much, because she says, well, actually, there are lots of struggles with being neurodiverse, but at the same time, there are also things that she can do which lots of other people might not be able to. And there are also ideas that she has in life which, again, lots of people might never have because of the experiences that she's had. I was just wondering, and I imagine it is the case with you because you've written a whole book around it, but do you have similar thoughts on that?
To me, the only thing that I can tell you is like from my own experience. And my life now that I'm older is so much different from when I was like younger. When I was younger, I used to be on crutches. I used to walk. And then once I got pregnant, because I couldn't, like walk and like be pregnant because I could fall and hurt the baby, and I had to get a chair. And so I had to get used to that. And now I'm older and my body is changing and I'm going through so many of these like issues. And I'm just like, okay, think of it this way. Your body is functioning how it has to function. You have to accept that. You're getting older. There's nothing you can do. There's no clock. There's no little booth. There's nothing. So you have to take this as it is and just deal with it and just, just keep pushing, because like I told you, when we started, I had to go and get like a little procedure done because I'm having problems with seating, like in my chair, like my chair hurts me. So I had to go to the hospital like day before yesterday, and they had to give me like steroid injections to stop the pain because that's how intense it was. Wow. So it's like, I hope I'm answering your question. I'm just saying that like it's different because I wasn't prepared for all this. When I was younger, I didn't think that all this would be going on with my body. Like,
did you know when you were younger, you were, no, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. You've led me onto a question. So I was intrigued. Did you know when you were younger that you were disabled, that you had, if you don't mind me asking, what is it that you have?
I had cerebral palsy.
Oh, okay, right. And did you know you had cerebral palsy when you were younger?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But you didn't realize it was going to affect you in the way that it affects you now?
No, not now. No. No. I had braces when I was in school on both legs, and like they would go on my shoes, and they used to hurt my feet a lot when I used to walk, and I used to be in pain. And when I would have to go to bed, like my mom would have to help me in like tub and help me clean myself and get me out and then get me ready for bed. And I had a brace that went around my waist, and it like had a Velcro strap, and then it had a thing for my thighs with like two metal pieces down the side, so my legs like hopefully would stay straight while I would sleep like this. And yeah, I used to have to sleep on my back all the time, and that was not comfortable because I'd wake up and I'd be hurting. So yeah, there was a lot going on. It was a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like that was a lot. So how I guess, how did that affect your day-to-day life? So things like going to school, things like meeting friends, things like, was there support for you other than, I know you said your mum was there for you, but was there other types of support?
Yes, I had my family, I had people at school, I did have friends, it was just that. And then I went to a public school, so it's like everybody there was disabled, but it was like, I don't know, I'm shy. I'm fun to be around, but I'm really like shy because like I get nervous around people because I've been through so much trauma in my life, and it's hard for me to trust. So it's like, if I like you, I go off of that, and whatever you show me, that's, I'll reciprocate that. And if I feel that you're trying to do something to hurt me, or like, I don't know, like you're up to something, I won't trust it, and I'll just leave you alone. Like I don't know, like I think that's a part of trauma. Let me tell it, because I don't think that that's normal. That's just how I feel. I don't feel like it's normal.
I mean, I honestly don't know. I haven't honestly been through that, so I don't know. But it does. Yeah, I mean, not being able to trust people. I've heard from before that can be an aftermath of trauma, and you clearly have been through a lot as well. We've already discussed in I don't know how long we've been speaking, but for the half an hour of the podcast or episode so far, that you had a lot of challenges growing up as a child, and then you had even more challenges as a teenager. You were still a child really when you left home, and as a young adult having to live on the streets. I don't want to focus too much on your time on the streets because we've already talked about this, but it's just because we've now talked about your cerebral palsy as well. Did that also have an effect when you were on the streets? Was that something else that I guess made it even harder?
Yes, because I didn't really have nobody on my side to really protect me until I met my daughter's father. And because people would rob me or beat me up or hurt me or push me out of the chair, stuff like that. So it was hard, but I made it through that, and when I met her father, he said that when I met him, he said that he had been watching me when I was panhandling, and he said, I was just watching you to make sure you was okay and nobody bothered you. And so he came up to me and he told me, he said, I think you're cute. And like, and then he just, I don't know, like it was a whole thing, and we was in love, and he just took care of me, and that's all I knew. And I don't know if I'm leading the like podcast correctly, but I'm trying. It's just like so
there's no correctly. We're just having a chat, Lydia, and you're telling stories, which is what this podcast is all about. But more importantly, I think you're going to connect with so much people because of the types of stories you're telling. I mean, we've discussed trauma, we've discussed difficulties, we've discussed poetry, we've discussed connections, and we've discussed romance. So I think so far we're getting most genres covered. We're doing pretty well. What's his name? Sorry, what's your partner's name?
My daughter's father's name was Anthony Smith. He passed away in 2015, and
oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's okay. I have been living here since he passed, and that's why I said that I want to use this book as like a positive stepping stone to take everything that I've learned from him and everything I've learned from life and move to a better place, because I do love this house, but it's so many memories in here of things, that wasn't nice, and things I've been through, and then things I've seen, and it's like, sometimes I feel overwhelmed in here, but I feel like I'm at home, but it's just memories, and they bother me. So it's like, I don't know how to put it. I'm not stuck. I just like need to get out of this space, because it's just, I miss him.
I bet you do. I'm so sorry as well. I had no idea that you passed away. That must be so difficult for you. I don't have the words. It just must be so difficult for you. I'm grateful for you talking about him, and I can see the joy, and I can hear the joy when you do talk about him, of the nice memories. And I obviously understand that him passing away it must have hit so hard. What maybe we can do, if it's okay with you, is maybe share another one of your poems. Would you mind maybe reading something from one of your books, or from a different poem that you have? Because I think our listeners would love to hear it.
Okay, so the name of this poem is called Tied to You. Sometimes I wonder if you safely made it to the afterlife, because I'm constantly writing to you and letting you know all of the things that I didn't get to say, and sharing our love with you in the best way. You will always be special to me and have earned the right to be talked about and honored. For me and Lauren, you were a blessing in disguise. You took us from misery and let us rise. Now, because of you, I still believe I am over the clouds of life. It's like a dream. Even though you're not here, the poems that I send you, that's how it makes it seem like we're talking, even though you can't hear me. I feel your replies in my heart. So we have an eternity to share our thoughts with each other. I will keep writing to you and sending you love like no other. You beautiful light. Please know that I think of you every night.
You okay?
Yes, I am. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I feel like so much. And it's like,
yeah.
I'm trying to talk about it without being my usual crazy self, where I just like overthink everything, but I can't help to continue to go back to him. And I do want to read other poems if you would let me.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, even though like he's gone, like to me he's still here. Like that's like my friend.
Yeah.
Like that's my friend.
And you're helping him live on, I think, through your poetry as well, Lydia. I'm not sure if you can see, but you brought a tear to my eye when you read that. It's so tough, but there's something about the way you write, the way that you connect. I don't know what it does for you, only you can speak to that, but I think it maybe gives us all an appreciation of what he meant to you through that poem, and what he still means to you even now. So thank you for reading that. And yes, of course, you could read as many poems as you like. That's what we're here for.
Okay. I have one more poem. Okay. This one is called Questioning My Dreams. Aimlessly running through a dream, trying to find myself is nothing new. I'm not lost. I am found. I'm just in hiding because there's so many people around. Being honest with how I feel is not hard. I just get too shy in front of people and don't know what to say. So I climb inside of myself and hang out for the day. I can be a little mysterious and reserved, but one thing I've got is a lot of nerve. I've showed and proved that I'm stable. The chair is just an accessory. My spirit is able. So is that I go through this dream looking to give definition to what I seek. I will keep faith close and have depth when I speak.
That's incredible. So many lines that came out of that. My chair is just an accessory. My soul is able. I'm not lost, I'm found.
Yes.
Where do you get I know where the inspiration comes from. We've talked about that throughout the podcast, but where does the creativity come from, I guess? How did the ideas come together, and then how do you know how to put your thoughts onto the page, I guess? What inspires you to write in the moment?
So what I do is I listen to like YouTube, and it's like they have like these chill hop, like lo-fi beats, and I turn it on and I listen to it, and I just sit and listen to what I'm hearing. And then from what I'm hearing, it just turns into words. So I use color note on my phone. So I go straight to color note, and as I'm listening and thinking, like it could be like one word will pop in my head. And whatever that word is, I'll start the poem with it and I'm done. Like most of my poems take maybe 4 or 5 minutes to write because I'm inspired by what I'm hearing. So it helps me to write it.
It's amazing.
And then another thing I do is like, if what I do is I challenge myself. I like take words, and I'll put them like on my color note, and I say, okay, I'm gonna make poems out of these. And I sit and I take some time to think, and I write them, and they're good to go. And then another thing I've been challenging myself by entering my work into contests, which is why we're here. But that is nerve-wracking because so far I got in with the art, and my poem A Withered Woman is going to be in their next edition. I can't remember what the book is, but I plan on buying the book, so I have the book with my poem in it. And I've been putting sending my book Strength, and the second book is My Life in My Words, and I've been sending both of those out to publishers and stuff, trying to get started so that I can get my books out there. The goal, like I said, is to sell these books so I can make things happen for myself and others. That is so important. That is so important.
It is exceptionally important, and it's great that you're putting this work out there. Otherwise, people won't know about it, and it deserves to be known about because it's great work. It's great writing. Sadly, there was a slight technical problem here, but don't worry, it was only my voice that was wiped out. I had asked Lydia if she would be kind enough to read another poem, one which she provided to us kindly for this year's Storytelling with Puck. It's called Finding My Rhythm, and here it goes.
I'm sitting here listening to the sounds around me, putting my words to a beat, letting my heart find the words to speak. I'm looking to expand my view by trying to accept self-worth. It has been my right since birth. Time becomes irrelevant. Listening to every note, finding my rhythm makes it easier to cope with how reality is hitting me about life all around me. It's hard to ignore my feelings about all I am and enjoy spending my time finding peace and finding myself relaxing. Sleep is my reward for all the work I do, for getting everything done, and to myself, staying genuine and not giving up is on my menu. Carving a new path for myself and looking at the blueprint, the words that I sometimes use in poetry come with ease. Sometimes it's complex, but I deserve a voice to hear, and thought about saying how I feel has always been surreal. The thoughts behind what I say come from things that happen every day. I never saw myself in this way, that I would be able to begin life anew and bring these words to the front where they could be appropriately displayed and away from the congested view. Not to be seen, but heard and felt, taking my remarks to a new plateau where they will go, no one knows, bringing in a new scene, giving the crystal clear sound a huge letting my words ring true.
Absolutely love that piece, which is why I specifically asked you to read it. Again, it's so powerful. I'm running out of adjectives to describe your work, Lydia, because it blows me away every single time. Unfortunately, we're coming towards the end of the episode, so but before we do that, there are going to be people who want to find your book, to buy your books when they come out, and there are going to be people who want to find out more about you. So, if people would like to do that, where can they find you?
Okay, so it's a writer's mind 21.wixsite.com/my-site. And that is where my book is located.
Amazing. We will make sure we send people there. And also, if you have any others that you would, other places that you would like people to find you, we will put them on the show notes when the episode is released as well, so that they can find you. But Lydia, it's been such a pleasure. It really has. I've found out things about you that I had no idea about, and discovered, I think, a lot of where your passion comes from. But more importantly, I guess for all of our listeners, they've also got to hear your poetry and see what an absolute talent you are. So thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Stefano. I wanted to thank you for letting me join your joining your podcast, and I also wanted to thank you because I saw that you liked my poems, and it really made me happy. I literally was screaming from happiness. So yes, I was so happy, and I just want everybody, to read my work and just whatever they feel is what they feel, and I just hope that it's positive. That's all I can say.
I'm sure it will be. I'm sure when they hear and they read your work, their emotions will definitely be positive. So thank you once again, and we will, as always, finish the episode with a story. Which was her first emotion. Oh, who'd he? This monster, this abomination, this tiny little man must have thought he was God's gift. That space was hers. She had seen it first. Nobody could deny that. She had been waiting patiently for the old little lady to pack her final 8 bags of shopping into the boot of the car. Only beeping once as a gesture, and this man was nowhere to be seen. She must have been there for more than 5 minutes, because she had listened to the whole of Enchanted by Taylor Swift. It should be noted that Enchanted is by far her favourite song, but he didn't know that. How could he? As time passed by, her rage turned into sadness. Why hadn't he even noticed her? What could possibly have been so important that he didn't think she was in any way remarkable? Surely it was obvious that she was tired that day and didn't want to have to walk very far. Can you imagine? Walking through that massive car park from one end to the other in heels. Admittedly, his wife was wearing heels too, but that's not the point. They got there late. They drove straight into the spot and then took ages to sort themselves out. She didn't want to complain. She hated confrontation, so she just watched them. She watched as the wife walked around the car and moved him from one chair to another. His chair was almost identical to the one drawn into the space. He didn't have to wear heels. He was wheeled to the supermarket. How selfish could they possibly be? Entitlement took over when she returned home. Laptop out, fingers ready to go, she started on the tirade that would shame these tyrannical thieves. Their crimes would be known to the world and she would be vindicated. Of course she wasn't. The vitriol came swiftly. They were clearly disabled. You really thought your heels were more important than their genuine needs? You're not human. Evil. Pure evil. She wasn't evil. She didn't even believe the things she said. She was angry and not with them. Of course they should have the space. Yet waiting there in her heels, lonely, betrayed, hurt, grief-stricken, and reminded of her disabled child that left her just the week before, she lashed out. Nobody ever left the space free for them. Nobody. Being that little bit closer would have kept him alive. It's easy to judge, she thought. You've just been listening to an episode of the Storytelling with Puck podcast. Your support keeps our podcast going, so please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen. Subscribe to keep up to date with the latest episodes and never forget the importance of sharing your stories.